My boyfriend left me for my childhood best friend, but the karma is sweet.
Easy there.
This was posted in the Charlotte Dober YouTube subreddit. This happened a few years ago, but the karma is so good. Too good not to share. Fair warning, some timeline details may be a little fuzzy because a lot has happened in my life since then. Back in 2024, I was in a relationship with a man we'll call George. Okay. We had been together a little over 2 years. Due to circumstances at the time, I ended up moving in with him. Important context, the house we were living in belonged to my parents. It had been a rental property for years, and George had been living there for about 6 months before I moved in. Coincidentally, my childhood best friend lived directly across the street.
How are you, bestie?
Okay. We'll call her Sarah. We hadn't been very close for the last 8 to 10 years. Adult life, work, relationships, etc. But I was genuinely excited to reconnect. She lived with her boyfriend James, and I thought it would be fun for us all to become close as couples. Oh, okay, so she was in a relationship too. I introduced George to Sarah because they were both type 1 diabetics. And once I got to know James better, I realized he and George would probably get along great. For about 6 months, everything was fine. We helped each other out, hung out regularly, and things felt normal. Then things slowly started to go downhill. The shift seemed to start when Sarah broke her leg. I felt awful for her and I tried to help however I could. I made her a small gift basket, brought over extra food I'd cooked, and even made meals specifically for them to make things easier while she recovered. I know where this story is going. Obviously, it was in the title, but I find it so crazy that you're going over there, you're bringing her gift baskets, and she's looking at those gift baskets, and she's like, you know what? I'm gonna fuck over this person. As part of her physical therapy, Sarah began taking nightly walks. At first, she went with James and George, and sometimes I joined them. Around this time, I was significantly overweight, dealing with plantar fasciitis, and constantly exhausted. Eventually, I stopped going on the walks. George, however, kept going.
Uh-oh.
What I didn't know was that James eventually stopped going too. Okay. So those group walks quietly became just George and Sarah, alone, for about an hour at a time, every night. I don't know how long that went on before I found out, but during that period, I noticed George becoming increasingly withdrawn and distant from me. I repeatedly asked what was wrong, but he brushed me off every time. To be fair, he was struggling. He wasn't working due to complications from his T1D and mental health issues. Around the same time, I decided to pursue gastric bypass surgery to address my weight and health issues. A few weeks before my surgery, scheduled for July 9th, 2024, George and I broke up. He told me he needed to work on himself, and he couldn't be in any relationship.
Whoa, red flag.
Also, he suddenly claimed he didn't want to get married again because he'd already been divorced. What do we always say on this channel? If things are super peachy between you and your partner, and for some reason, the vibes change. The vibes are off. There's someone else. This blindsided me because earlier in our relationship, he had been open to and talked about getting married again, which is why I felt comfortable pushing forward to the next step. Despite everything, we agreed to remain friends because he couldn't afford to move out and wasn't working.
Something suspicious.
We decided he would move into the spare bedroom and we'd function as roommates. And the audacity. Still living in the same house as you. The house that's owned by your parents. That's when it became increasingly obvious that George was into Sarah. At the time, she was still with James, so I tried to rationalize it. I told myself George was just keeping busy, helping her on her farm, helping James with cars or house projects, getting out of the house since he was on disability. George promised he would still support me through my surgery, and technically, he did. Both George and Sarah were present for my pre-op and post-op hospital visits, but when I woke up from surgery, the two of them were extremely chummy, laughing and sharing inside jokes. I felt like a third wheel in my own hospital room. Eventually, I asked them to leave so I could rest. They weren't great help during my recovery, but it was better than nothing. Over the next few weeks, they grew closer and closer. Meanwhile, I was focused on healing and started losing weight. I was actually feeling optimistic. Then, Sarah and James broke up.
Warning.
A few weeks later, Sarah came to me and asked if I would be okay with her dating George.
Girl, what now?
I appreciate that she asked you first, but I also feel like they were all laying the groundwork to eventually do this, you know? Like the walks every night, George breaking up with you, Sarah breaking up with James, and now all of a sudden, Sarah's into George.
Make it make sense.
I told her honestly, I don't think I'd be comfortable with that. And it's not only because it's like, okay, so you guys aren't in a relationship anymore. You know, she's your former, like, close childhood friend. But, like, you live right there. You still live with your ex. She's just gonna come over now? She assured me that if I wasn't okay with it, she wouldn't pursue anything. She even promised that if feelings developed, she'd talk to me first, and if I wasn't comfortable, she'd stop. That promise didn't last. Eventually, they got together anyway. I was devastated. I finally told them the situation was not workable for me and said, either George needs to move out or I can't continue a friendship with Sarah. I can't handle this. Sarah exploded on me, giving an ultimatum, and that was the end of our friendship. I mean, that also makes it easier for her to date your ex. I also wouldn't be surprised if they were emotionally cheating while you guys were together. From that point on, I kept to myself, they kept to themselves. By then, I had lost 50 to 60 pounds and decided I was done mourning George. I started dating again. As you should. Now, for the karma.
Karma.
In November of 2024, I met the man who's now my husband. He's kind, loving, fiercely loyal, and genuinely my best friend. We are absolutely soulmates. I'm so happy to hear, bestie. We dated for just 3 months before he proposed over Valentine's Day weekend 2025. We were married in a beautiful ceremony in August 2025. We own a gorgeous home together. I've lost 120 pounds total since surgery, and I'm at the lowest weight I've ever been. Good for you, babes. I know how hard that is. I'm happy, healthy, and deeply loved. We are even trying for our first baby. That's amazing. Meanwhile, George and Sarah lasted 3 months. What's that? Sorry? Oh yeah, no, that's the sound of the tiniest violin playing. George ended up moving into his mother's basement, where last I heard, he still lives. He's working a miserable job and is still single. Sometimes the best karma isn't revenge. It's just living well and being genuinely happy. I have to say, I'm actually very pleased that you just had to let the universe unfold and the cards to fall, and that's where they landed. A small update from OP. I've seen some posts asking what happened to Sarah. On that front, I unfortunately don't have many updates. She unfriended me on Facebook and her profile is private, so I don't know how things are going. She's a divorced single mom from a high school relationship. Don't know if that context matters or not. As far as I know, she's still working a part-time job, living in the same house, and not dating anyone new.
Sucks to suck face.
It makes me wonder if it was worth it, you know? You ruined a relationship with your childhood best friend, only to date a guy for 3 months. You know, it would be one thing if they ended up married and they were super, super happy and like had kids together. That would have been hard for you to see, OP, but was it worth it? I don't know if it was. If you enjoyed this story and if you enjoyed this channel, don't forget to subscribe. Moving on. Am I the jerk for uninviting my friend from my birthday trip after she made a shared expenses spreadsheet without asking? Okay. I'm turning 30 next month and planned a weekend trip to the beach with 4 close friends. I organized everything, booked the Airbnb, made restaurant reservations, planned activities. My friend Tara sent the group a spreadsheet yesterday dividing all expenses equally 5 ways, including things I already paid for like the Airbnb deposit. I said, wait, I paid for the Airbnb as my contribution since I organized everything. Tara said we should split everything equally, including my planning costs. Okay. The spreadsheet had a line item for Tara's gas since she's driving. I said, okay, but I'm driving and I didn't add my gas. She said she's driving further, so hers counts. Okay, this is going to get a little dicey, I think. She calculated her planning time researching restaurants at $25 an hour. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Wait. She wants to be paid for her planning time? Oh, no. No. Oh, absolutely not. Wait a second. But you planned the whole thing. You booked the restaurants. Do you also get paid for your time planning? Oh, okay, this is weird. So she calculated her planning time at $25 an hour and added that to shared expenses. I said, you can't charge us for time you volunteered. She said her time has value. Oh, stop it right now. Oh my goodness. Oh, wait, no. Oh, this is weird. Okay, I'm sorry, but
So weird.
what about your time? Oh, this is odd. Okay, the spreadsheet was so detailed, it included splitting the cost of birthday decorations I bought for myself. I'm so confused. She wants me to reimburse everyone for 1/5 of my own birthday decorations. I'm sorry, wait, what? Okay, no, I'm sorry, but if it's gonna be like this, you're literally sucking the fun out of everything. You're a fun sucker. I don't know about you guys, but I like planning trips. I like planning bachelorette trips, birthday trips, trips with my husband. I like doing all of that. It's fun for me. Never in all my years would I expect my husband to pay me back for the time I spent planning. Oh my God.
Have you lost your marbles?
At that rate, you would literally just hire a professional. I told her this is ridiculous and she's uninvited. She said I'm being unreasonable and fair is fair. That is not fair. That is literally the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Well, not the weirdest, but you get my point. It's really weird. I said fair would be everyone contributing reasonably, not itemizing everything, including my own birthday supplies. Tara's telling people I invited her over wanting things fair. Am I actually wrong here? No, oh my God. I have literally never heard this. Tara must have been in a situation, maybe that's what's going on. Maybe Tara's been in a situation where she's gone on a birthday trip or a bachelorette or whatever. She ended up spending a bunch of time or whatever. I'm sorry though, that's kind of you don't get paid for that time.
So many social engagements.
You really don't, okay? There's ways to contribute to make things fair, the normal way to do it, I think, is okay, one person plans, books the Airbnb, another person will plan the restaurants, another person will research activities, and OP did all of that though. So wait, is she reimbursing you for the time you spent? I'm confused. I would feel like you planned all of these things. Now maybe it's her turn to plan. I don't even know if there's anything left to plan, honestly, but I find this very odd. Maybe Sarah just needs a little part-time job or something. So Tara told people I'm inviting her over wanting things fair. Am I actually wrong here? This is this is weird. Just wow, I probably would have uninvited her too. Yeah, and it's also your birthday trip as well. Yeah. Paying herself for her volunteer work nobody asked for is the deal breaker, yeah. It would be one thing if she was a professional travel agent or something and she wanted to be paid for her time, but still, it's wouldn't that kind of be it's your birthday trip? Wouldn't that kind of be something nice that she could do without getting you a gift? I find this incredibly odd and really unreasonable. And I think if I had a friend that was charging me for time spent planning a trip, I don't even know what is left for her to plan at this rate.
I know. It isn't logical.
Yeah, I'm good. I'd rather not. That's friendship ending, definitely. Not the jerk. This is a glimpse into what this trip would have been like with her. OP responded, yeah, that's actually the nail in the coffin. If I'm already stressed out now, what else on the actual trip? You don't need that. I don't think you need that.
Does not bring me joy.
Yeah, in general, I think taking trips with friends, there's usually one person that goes above and beyond and plans a bunch of things. I know that that's usually me. But if it was a trip for me or it was my birthday, I would do a lot of the planning. If it's my friend's birthday or bachelorette, like I definitely do a lot of the planning as well. Some people are just better at it and some people just enjoy it. And then, yeah, like I feel like the way to pay each other back is like when it's your friend's birthday trip or bachelorette, then you do the planning, you know? But it's not like, we're not like keeping tabs, right? I feel like we're only keeping tabs if it's like you're the only person that ever does anything for your friends and they don't bother to like try to plan anything for you. But we're definitely not billing for time. Wait, oh God. Here's my invoice. Oh, babe, here's my invoice for our month of friendship. Get the fuck out of my face. I'm dead. Okay. No, you are not the jerk. This next one is also from the Charlotte Dober YouTube subreddit. Am I the a-hole for contacting my ex-classmate's entire family after she ghosted me and ruined my credit?
This is gonna be good.
Back in 2017, I moved into a large metropolitan city to study, far away from my hometown. I came from a very religious family, so living alone, partying, staying out all night, drinking, and even owning a motorcycle were things I always dreamed of experiencing. I had goals, plans, and honestly, I did accomplish many of the things I wanted during that time. Fast forward to 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. An old classmate from high school contacted me out of the blue. For context, we graduated in 2014, and I hadn't spoken to her in years. She told me she moved in with some friends and that they didn't even have a living room set, no couch, nothing. They wanted to buy furniture on credit, but they needed a co-signer.
Bad feeling about this.
Okay. Because I knew what it felt like to start from zero and eat meals sitting on the floor, I agreed to help. I told her clearly that if at any point she couldn't pay the monthly installment, she just needed to tell me and I would help cover it or figure something out together. 6 months later, I got a call from the furniture company saying the account was going into collections and that legal action would begin if the debt wasn't paid. Turns out she hadn't paid a single cent in months.
Give me a break.
Oh, brother. Kind of things like this just like make you like not want to help people, you know? Like it's like, why does one person have to ruin it for everyone? I tried calling her. She rejected my calls repeatedly until she finally answered and said she didn't want to, quote, bother me by telling me she couldn't pay. So she'd rather bother you by ruining your credit? Didn't you specifically tell her to tell you if she couldn't pay the monthly fee? I told her we are now in a much worse situation. She promised to sell the furniture to pay the debt. She then told me she didn't have money to pay for premium ads to get more visibility, so I offered to do it for her. I posted the listings, and within a week, I had several interested buyers. I told her, and she didn't respond. Okay, what? You're literally doing everything to like solve the problem that she created, and she's not doing anything about it to help? Oh, absolutely not, no. So days passed, she completely stopped replying. I contacted her roommates, no response. At that point, I was desperate. My credit history was on the line. So I went to her Facebook, filtered people with her last name, assuming they were family, and sent a message to over 20 of them. The message basically said, Juanita asked me to be her co-signer. She stopped paying, stopped responding, and now I'm facing collections and legal issues. I need someone to help because this is affecting my credit. I also contacted my mom, who is a lawyer. She later found out that one of Juanita's aunts owed my family a favor. Out of sheer embarrassment, the aunt paid the debt. I then personally negotiated with the collections department to settle the balance immediately, got the interest reduced, paid everything off, and removed my name as co-signer. The aunt transferred me the money and that was the end of it, financially at least. Later, I found out that Juanita and her friends had a falling out. She got married and she never apologized to me. The only time I heard from anyone was when one of her friends called me to say I was a B-word for contacting Juanita's family and making her look bad.
Kind of did it to herself.
I mean, to be quite honest, I feel like you could have done a lot worse than that, legally speaking. I'm genuinely happy she seems happy now, but I want nothing to do with her. So, am I the a-hole for going that far and contacting her entire family to protect myself? I mean, you kind of like had no choice, it seems. Like, it really genuinely seems like you did everything you could to help her, and she didn't give two shits. I don't want people to like read stories like this and be like, oh, I'm never gonna help a friend. Oh, everybody's out to get me and stuff. Like, there are genuinely situations where friends won't just like walk all over you. You know what I mean? there are friends who have like a conscience and would feel incredibly uncomfortable about someone taking on a debt or legal issues because of their poor planning. But, you know, I've been around the block and I have pretty good instincts about friends that are opportunists. And those are the exact friends that I do not get into any sort of entanglement with, whether it's like roommates or owing them money or them owing me money or letting them borrow things. Like, I can always sense it, you know? I can always sense it. But I don't think that it's like, I feel like it's just because I've had a lot of life experience with this type of thing. So I know like the red flags.
All the red flags just look like flags.
And sometimes it's honestly really hard to tell. Like sometimes people seem like genuinely like really, really nice and you like want to help them. And it later comes out that they were kind of an opportunist. Yeah, no, I've definitely been in a situation before where like I've had to cut off friends for similar things. Not the a-hole, your friend is a deadbeat and an opportunist. They did a crappy thing and they deserve to be embarrassed and shamed in front of their family. See, this is the thing. It's kind of like, you can never tell. Honestly, a lot of times you can't tell if someone's gonna be an opportunist and they're gonna do, you know, like they're gonna be a bad friend, right? It's really difficult to tell. So is it better to sort of err on the side of caution? Probably, to be honest. Or putting like some sort of like rules in place. Like I hate to say that you would need a contract with your friend to pay you back, but like, you know. There's honestly nothing that could have prevented this, in my opinion. Like I feel like you just trusted someone, you tried to do the right thing, and they f***ed you over. And I'm sorry to hear that, bestie. It happens sometimes in life. Friends can suck. So someone pointed out, I suspect she already burned all the bridges with her family and reached out to several classmates to get the money. OP responded, I love your screen name, by the way. It's Titty and Potatoes. OP responded, what is funny though, is that later on I found out she indeed burned all bridges with her family by asking big amounts of money and never paying back. She even tried to create a YouTube channel with her friends that never got monetized or even got views. So honestly, it is very sad. Sounds like you were just the next person down the list of people she could ask to pay for shit. Here's the thing, right? Like, in the same way that it's like, let's say you have a kid that's like, you're coddling, right? Like, let's say you're a mom and you have this like son or daughter who constantly needs to be bailed out of things. They learn that they never have to do anything for themselves. They never have to bail themselves out of anything. They never have to like earn a dollar. They learn that because mommy and daddy are always there to rescue them. I actually feel like bailing people out I think it's kind of counterproductive. And you never know if it's like you're just the next person down the list of people that they wanted to ask to bail them out. Not the a-hole for reaching out to her family for help, but you're the a-hole to yourself for agreeing to be on the hook. Thank God for the aunt. Most people do not have that luxury and would be stuck paying collections. And the legal system would agree in favor of you paying because you were a willing co-signer. That's true.
100% accurate.
Be careful. Glad the situation worked out for you in the end. You know, I get why you're writing this, and hindsight is always 2020, but like, I think we would all like to be people that help people in need. I think we all want to be, like, at least for the most part, good friends, good partners, good members of the community. Unfortunately, there are people who ruin it for others. Because, you know, an ideal society is just like we're all just constantly helping each other. We're not keeping tabs. We're all just like part of this like village where we're constantly helping. But, you know, the issue with that is there's always people who take advantage of that and don't also want to be a villager in return. So yes, she's the a-hole for herself for agreeing to be on the hook. I agree in that sense that she shouldn't have signed the paperwork. But again, hindsight is 2020, right? So I think OP wanted to help her friend at the end of the day. And there was really no way of knowing that this would have happened. But I can bet your bottom dollar that she's never going to be a co-signer of anything for a friend again. So no, you are not the a-hole, my dear. Am I the a-hole for wanting to kick my friend and her baby out of my home and I refuse to pay for her 50-inch TV that I broke? Okay. I'll hear you out. Hi, I need some advice and I want to know if I'm in the wrong for wanting my friend to move out and her baby, and she seems upset that I didn't offer to fix her TV. For context, my friend, we'll call her A, moved in early December. She had a domestic situation and needed a friend. She has no one, so I, being the people pleaser, let her and her 1-year-old come and stay with me. The agreement was she could use my spare room for a short period until she found something else. She agreed. The day she moved in, she brought her 50-inch TV and a lot of her belongings. She put the TV on my shelf in the middle of the room. And this room is kind of small, and I did have some storage stuff like decorations and stuff that just don't have a place. I told her this before she came. My son had a room as well. He does not live with me full time and rarely stays the night. He does come over and spend time with me, but he is the type to want to be in his home and bed in a comfortable place, which sadly for me is his dad's and Mimi's. Anyway, I'm a mail carrier and on the road a lot. She called me and asked me if she could move some things around. I think we need to be a little more specific than that. I need some specifics.
Give it to me.
I thought she meant the things in the room I let her stay in. Sadly, I was wrong. I came home from work and I saw that she moved all my son's things out of his room and into the middle room. Oh, no. I tried to evaluate the situation and not overreact. I thought, well, he really doesn't stay here, so maybe it's okay. Well, my son came over that same day that she did this. Her 50-inch TV that was previously on my rack in the middle room is now on the floor, leaned up against something in my son's now previous room. My son goes in there and looked around, and the TV fell over and the whole screen went black. She accused him to me of breaking her TV that she put in his room. Ooh, this is messy. Also, she keeps passively making comments about how I should offer her something for that. Meanwhile, she's living in your place for free, I'm assuming.
Waters, rights.
Okay. Not to mention, she's been here for 7 weeks. I gave her 6 months. My husband got laid off and I tried to ask her to find something sooner because I'm the only one working and I can't carry the weight of 2 extra. She tried to guilt me into feeling sorry for her and told me no, she wasn't leaving. I told her 6 months and that's what she expects. Okay.
This is bad.
I mean, you did tell her 6 months. It was a situation of her own making. She put the TV in a place where, it could have gotten ruined. She moved around your son's things without asking you, and then is now upset that the place that she put her TV that was kind of unsafe for it caused the TV to get ruined. I don't love that she's living in your place for free and then asking you to now pay her back for a TV that was ruined because of a situation of her own making. I'm sorry. I think that also, to be fair, I do kind of think that if the situation was a little bit easier on you, maybe she helped out a lot, didn't make it, didn't cause a fuss, you would be more willing to let her stay for 6 months. But it's kind of hard to tell when you tell someone that and then they move in how that person is going to behave within your space. I think that you probably would have let her stay for the full 6 months if she wasn't being difficult. Today, she asked me if she could take the 20-inch TV I gave her for a temporary replacement with my living room TV, since no one watches it much anyway, her words. I told her I get up hours earlier than everyone and I enjoy a few hours of alone time and I watch it every day. Her response was,
well, I just figured since your son is the one who broke mine, you would offer something.
Okay. At this point, I'm boiling inside. She rearranged my whole house. She raked my leaves, set up front plants, and decor neatly. Everything except the dishes, which is what I really need done. She's supposed to be going to online school, but claims she's too busy with her 1-year-old and she can't. But she manages to rake leaves, label all my cabinets, sweep, mop, etc. Everything but the dishes, which is the main thing I asked her to do while I was at work. I don't know how to react without getting upset. Okay, so she is doing something. That's good. I will say, I appreciate that she is doing something. I really want her out and go back in our agreement. She's overstepping boundaries, overreacting when I try to set boundaries. I need a way to calmly tell her to get out. Thanks in advance. Sorry if there are some missing details. Ask and I'll elaborate. I think it would be good for you to maybe figure out an alternative for her. I think this has the makings of she's never gonna leave. Like, I'm just saying. But like, her kid is innocent in all of this. I understand it's becoming a lot for you, but you did tell her that she could stay there for 6 months. She is overstepping boundaries, but she's not like, based on what you said, she doesn't seem to be like making a massive mess. Like, she is doing stuff.
I'm helpful.
Maybe is there a way for you to sort of find another situation for her and like let her know kindly that this is becoming too much for you? Yeah, I mean, you know, hindsight is 20/20. Again, you wanted to help a friend in need. She also has like an innocent baby that she has to take care of. But at the same time, it's like, I think you grossly underestimated what it would be like to live with another woman and her baby. Let's see what everybody else has to say.
What do y'all think?
You need to be direct. I would sit her down and have a conversation with her, explaining that this is no longer a good fit, as you're feeling disrespected in your home and it's causing undue stress to you and your husband. Tell her you can't afford the extra 2 mouths to feed and that it is no longer suitable or fair to anyone. I would also nip the passive-aggressive comments about the TV in the bud immediately. She had absolutely no right to take over your son's room, rearrange everything, and then ask for the better television in the house. If she refuses to leave, let her know that while it would hurt you, you will get the police involved. You and your husband are priority number one. Your space is your space and your rules are to be followed. You need to take care of your family and your peace of mind. Unfortunately, this means your friend has to go. If you're feeling generous, you can let her know that you will spend 1 day helping her look for other arrangements. You also need to give her an exact date to be out by 1 week, 2 weeks, etc. So yeah, like you do have to have a difficult conversation. I do agree with this person. You know, it was probably something that you didn't realize what you were getting yourself into. You did tell her 6 months, but like, I find it odd that you did this incredible kindness for her and she kind of like, you gave her an inch and she took a mile, so to speak. At the same time, she is a single mother with no job that has a baby. No job, which is not an easy position to be in. So I do like the part about you helping her look for other arrangements. I think that might be the easiest way out. She's still not gonna like it because at the end of the day, you're telling her to move out. I think in this regard, it's not even really for her peace of mind, but your peace of mind to say that you did everything you could to help. Because I would feel guilty about this as well. Yeah. So OP responded, I tried being direct and we ended up in a screaming match. I thought things were going to get physical. Ooh.
Let's get physical.
I clearly see I'm being taken advantage of and want her gone. She's trying her best to guilt trip me.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure that works. Like, I feel guilty being in a situation where I need to tell you what to do when there's like a kid involved. It's not the kid's fault. But I mean, what would she have done if you weren't in the equation, you know? Give her written notice, certified mail if need be. First tape it to her bedroom door. Tell her you will evict her if she doesn't leave. I'm sure she'd rather not have an eviction on her record. Refuse to discuss it beyond that. Do not listen to anything she says. It's all manipulation. If she dares scream at you again, call the cops and report her for threatening you. Screaming is threatening behavior. Meanwhile, put all the stuff she put in your son's room back in the room she's currently in until you get her out, hopefully stat, and put a lock on your son's bedroom door. Hubby and I learned this the hard way. Don't let people stay with you. Yeah. It's also really bad to let people stay with you who literally have no job prospects whatsoever, who do not have an income, do not have any savings. Like let's say if you're looking at this from like a landlord's point of view, like someone comes to you and they're, you know, in a really shitty position and like, you know, they have a kid, they don't have a job, they don't have any money. Like, are you going to let that person stay with you? No, like you're not. And like, obviously it's like, it's sad. It's a shitty position to be in. Everybody would love to be able to help everyone. But at the end of the day, like you're the one that's going to have to pay for her. So yeah, I mean, I think just letting her stay there, knowing that she had like no prospects of a job, no desire to go to school, no desire to like get herself out of this situation.
Big red flag.
I think that we should all strive to be helpful with regards to friends in situations, but friends also need to learn to help themselves. OP said that she was going to have a hard conversation with her after work
saying she'd update. Let's see. Okay, update from OP. She apologized and gave me $500 and bought some stuff for the house and told me I don't have to evict her. She's actively looking for a place and that she still loves me and considers me a friend.
Oh, phew.
I didn't speak a lot. I just told her I was sorry for putting hands on her.
Sorry, what?
I still feel I should go to the courthouse and start the eviction process in case she is gaslighting to stay longer. I'm very cautious now because she took things so far. We've both been keeping distance, staying on opposite ends of the house. I still feel tension, but I've been working and staying in my room. She hasn't cleaned a single thing since everything happened. I don't think she will be helping at all now, which is fine if that means she's leaving sooner. Thank you for all the advice and validation. It meant a lot. People are trying to point out, oh, she's giving you money to establish she pays rent, which makes it harder to get her out. Yeah, I honestly, I would agree with all of that. If I was in a situation where like I was staying with a friend and they like yelled at me because like I was making it, I was like messy or something, you can best believe that I would be on my best behavior after that.
Yes, sir.
So it could be a tactic change. I would still try and find places for her, still tell her that she has, a time limit.
The countdown has started.
And be done with it. So are you the a-hole for wanting to kick your friend and her baby out of my home and refuse to pay for a 50-inch TV that broke? I also wanted to point out that you said that you put hands. Don't love that. Like you said that it kind of like almost got physical and stuff. I don't love that. Like I know these situations are very stressful, but like let's keep our hands to ourselves, okay? My female 30 husband, male 33, has been cheating on me with my best friend, female 31. And he asked me tonight if I wanted to be in a throuple. Where does one find the audacity? Okay, let me start out by saying F 2020. 2020 sucked indeed. My husband lost his job in April and has been home while I've been working extra shifts, making $12 an hour to keep us from going broke. Yes, I've been out of the house more than at home. Yes, I haven't been super active in bed because I am really exhausted all the time, working 70 hours a week, standing on my feet all 70 hours. I thought he'd appreciate that I'm working so we have things like food and a place to live.
Essentials.
So you are the main breadwinner, and he cheated on you. Big mistake. Huge. Instead, he and my friend have been copulating while I've been at work. She lost her job too. They've always gotten along with each other, and I've never felt jealous or threatened that they have hung out together, just the two of them over the years. One very drunk night in 2009, she and I did kiss, but it was a one-time thing and I didn't enjoy it. I thought I could trust them, that they were just friends. Obviously, I'm an idiot. Enough backstory. I came home tonight and I found them snuggling on the couch, watching TV, like in a spooning position, but it was very obvious that it was intimate. They didn't panic, but she sat up. Then he sat up. At this point, I felt my stomach turn into a rock and I felt dizzy. No word of a lie, my body went into some kind of shock. I walked to the bathroom, closed the door, and sat on the toilet. I started crying after I have no idea how long, and I threw up. I heard them whispering, but couldn't make out what they were saying. But they knocked on the bedroom door and asked if I was okay. And I told them,
Obviously, f***ing not. Tell him, bud, tell him.
They didn't backpedal or deny anything. They didn't admit to cheating then, but my best friend said we should all probably talk about what's going on.
Oh, fine, let's talk. Let's have a little chat.
I stayed in the bathroom. We talked through the door. That's when my husband said,
Okay, yes, we didn't want you to find out like this, but we've been in a relationship since July.
He said some more things, but I honestly can't remember them because my ears were kind of ringing. And then I kept thinking about him saying,
Relationship.
This wasn't a fling or a one-night stand. I could maybe forgive that, but a real relationship? Isn't marriage supposed to be just him and I are in a relationship? So he says whatever, and then my best friend says, so what do you think? Think about what? I missed everything he said, so I obviously told her, and she said, so you missed the part about all three of us living together. For those who are just watching, I just gave the side-eye cam a bombastic side-eye. No, seriously, like, where do people find the audacity? Because, like, this is not a very good bargaining point for you. She literally just caught them cheating. Oh my goodness. After me asking, what? My husband clarified that she would stay on the couch, but they'd keep each other company during the day, and I could be with her too if I wanted. Absolutely f***ing not. She knows I don't want this because we would have made out more than that one time in 2009, right? I know she needs to move out of her place because no job equals no rent payment. I had told her in the past she could always crash at my place, but I never meant like this. Yeah.
No sh**.
How could she not know that? Is my best friend an idiot? Am I an idiot? No, I don't think you're an idiot, but it's actually like, people really do try though. Like, it's actually shocking to me how people can find the audacity to suggest things that are just so unbelievably out of the question.
Delusional.
I guess you could say, well, the worst thing she could say is no. Might as well ask. Shoot for the moon, you might land among the stars, as you might say. But I don't think that you're in a negotiating mood right now. Not for two f***ing deadbeats who are literally cheating with each other.
Cheater!
The fact that he even thinks he has a place to live after this is quite shocking. I need advice. Yes, tell me I'm the idiot I am for trusting them and having bad judgment and not doing my wifely duties. I own all those things. Oh, God, this is so like internalized misogyny coded. Like, I will never be on the side of like,
Yeah, well, you should have done your wifely duties.
you are literally the only reason that you and your husband have a house right now. The least he can do is not cheat on you. Oh, but that's too f***ing hard. Oh, I'm sorry. No. That's too f***ing hard for him. I just need help figuring out what my next steps are. I don't want to be in a throuple. I don't even want to look at either of them. It's 3:30 a.m. and I can't sleep and I don't know what to do. I feel like I've been used. Well, you have. And again, hindsight is 2020. Like, it's easy to say now, oh, I was an idiot, I shouldn't have let them hang out. But like, you say no in the moment and then you're like controlling, so can't win. I don't know, even if I leave, if I'd still have to pay for my husband's expenses because he's not working, which would mean I'm paying for them to have a relationship, which idiot me has been doing since July, and I really hate my life right now. Oh, bestie, I know this was like 6 years ago, but like...
I feel for you.
Dude, like, you better not even be considering staying with this person. Are you the only person who's on the... Are you renting? Do you making $12 an hour. So I'm assuming that you're renting. I don't know legally what would have to happen if you left. I would make them leave, honestly. Like, either way, he can't pay for that place. Neither can she. So, like, makes sense for them to leave. I think without question, you need to divorce this person. Your best friend is no longer your best friend. Probably never was. I'm sorry to say. I wouldn't want to leave. I'd make them leave. But, like, would that have any... If your name is on the lease, like, possibly could be difficult for you. But you do have an update, so let's read it. So OP is like thankful to everyone and saying that she told her boss what happened because she looked terrible and was like throwing up and crying and stuff. So, you know, he was wondering what's wrong. So it turns out he has a soul and he gave me Monday off, in his words, to get yourself a lawyer, but keep it quiet from your husband. On Monday, my husband will think I'm at work, but I'm seeing what my next steps should be from a legal perspective. Speaking of my husband, I asked him to give me some space for the next few days and he's on the couch. My best friend texted me a few times today, but I've left her on red. This was a long edit. OP just updated and said that she is going to be getting a divorce. She met with a lawyer. There's no assets to split up, so it made things easier. Husband is not contesting the divorce. Best friend and her are no longer talking. OP moved back home with her dad about a week or so after the post, so she's the one that ended up leaving. I'm glad to hear you got yourself out of a very, very marriage, and you're not an idiot, okay? Some people just really have the audacity. Some people just really, really suck. Am I the jerk for calling my friend's emergency contact when she left her kid with me for 20 minutes, in quotations, and vanished? My friend Kayla, 29 female, asked if I could watch her 6-year-old son
for like 20 minutes.
while she ran to a store near my place. I said yes because I've known her for years and I've watched him before. He's a good kid. She showed up, dropped him off with his tablet and snack, and said she'd be right back. About 40 minutes later, I texted her a simple, "Hey, is everything okay?" No reply. An hour passes, I call. Straight to voicemail. I start getting that hot panic feeling because I'm not his parent and I don't know what's going on. Her son starts asking when mom's coming back, and I'm trying to keep it like, "Soon, bud," while I'm also refreshing my phone like a maniac. I texted again, then again, nothing. At the 2-hour mark, I'm honestly scared something happened. But I'm also pissed because this is not 20 minutes anymore. I also had plans later, and I'd basically been volunteered into childcare with no end time. I finally looked at the little info card she once left in her bag, emergency contact and pediatrician, stuff like that. And I called the emergency contact, her older sister. I didn't call to get her in trouble. I called because I didn't know if Kayla was in a car accident or had passed out or what. Her sister answered immediately and sounded confused, then went quiet and said, "Wait, she told you 20 minutes?" Apparently, Kayla had texted her earlier that she was going to look at a car with a guy she's been seeing and might be out a while. Okay, so she needed a babysitter and she didn't want to pay you. She said 20 minutes because 20 minutes wouldn't mean, oh, I need you to be my babysitter. So she used me as a free babysitter so she could go do this and just chose not to tell me. Her sister drove over and picked the kid up, and she was polite, but I could tell she was annoyed. 30 minutes after that, Kayla finally calls me, furious, saying I embarrassed her and made her look like a bad mom.
Well, you are.
Well, she did that herself, not gonna lie, she did that all by herself. She said her phone died and she lost track of time. Who the hell, leaves her kid somewhere, completely loses track of time, has no working phone? Who does that? Aren't you thinking about your kid? I mean, I gotta say, I have some friends who recently had kids, and the way that their brains literally do not function the way that they used to because they are constantly thinking about their kids. They have to apologize to me because I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention because I was just thinking about my kid.
That sounds horrible.
Mom brain is a real thing. Maybe it gets better as they get older, but I just find that crazy that she spent 2 hours or several hours not thinking about her child. I asked why she didn't plug it in or why she didn't just say she needed a couple hours. She said because I would have said no and she really needed this. What do you mean she would have said no? How do you know that? She also said I had no right to involve her family and now her sister's judging her. Good, honestly. Maybe she'll stop leaving her kid random places for time that has no end. I told her I'm not a drop-off zone. I'm not comfortable being lied to about someone's kid. She's telling mutual friends I overreacted and I'm dramatic for calling her sister instead of just waiting. Am I the jerk for calling the emergency contact when she disappeared? I mean, this is when I would call all my friends and tell them exactly what happened. I'm just saying. What if something had happened to her? She lied to you. She wanted a free babysitter and now she's making it your fault. Get the out of my face with that shit. If she looked like a bad mom, it's because she was being a bad mom.
Facts.
I mean, like I said, how do you just leave your kid somewhere and not have a phone on, not worry about charging it and so that your kid can get a hold of you, in case something happens to them, not think about that kid for 2 hours, lie to your friend about needing childcare. I feel there's a few things there that are I'm not a mom, but I feel kind of mean you're not being the best mom you could be. She left her child with someone and let her phone die or turned it off. Either one is terrible. What if there was an actual emergency? Kids are not purses you're loaning out. You can't just dump them and forget about them. She looked like a bad parent because she was. Also, don't lie to people to get them to agree to what you want because I needed this or any other reason. That's selfish and irresponsible. There is no excusing her behavior and she knows it. That's why she's going on the attack with Darvo instead. I feel bad for the kid. No, I totally agree. She turned it off because she was getting railed. I mean, there's also that. Yeah, I mean, listen, she probably feels very guilty. She does feel like a bad mom, but instead of taking ownership for that, she's making you the scapegoat. I would just let everybody know.
Hey, you mind spreading the news around town?
If someone comes to you and says, "Oh, well, so-and-so said that you were, saying all this," She literally left her kid at my place and like didn't answer her phone for hours. Like, what was I supposed to do? What would you have done? You are not the a-hole, my dear. Am I the a-hole for being mad at my friend for telling my husband to keep a secret from me? Depends on the secret, honestly. Like, are we talking like a beautiful like Valentine's Day surprise or like a birthday like surprise? Like, are we getting like 1,000,000 roses, a Chanel purse? What is the secret? I'm not sure where to start. This is long and complicated, but I'll try to be as concise as possible. I just need somewhere to get this out, and I often have trouble telling if I'm just overreacting or if I do have something to genuinely be mad about. Honestly, same.
Yeah, it's tough out there, all right?
I feel bad about telling everybody I know. I ended up just, getting a therapist. Some context. My friends and I are all in our early 30s. My husband and I have been good friends with Molly and Chris, fake names, for a few years now. Molly and I have been friends for well over 10 years before we met our partners. Chris and my husband really hit it off, and Chris was my husband's best man at our wedding. We also have a mutual friend, Kelly, who hangs out with us and occasionally brings her boyfriend, though we haven't hung out as much since Molly and I both had children. Molly and I have become closer since both of us had daughters around a year apart, my daughter being the younger one. The problem. Molly and Chris's relationship has not been great recently. Molly has had issues with Chris's lack of affection. The two of them have been very distant with us too recently. I did invite them over for a play date. The girls are playing and Chris and I are supervising. While we are away, Molly reveals to my husband that she's been cheating on Chris through an emotional affair. Okay. Interesting that she chose to tell your husband that.
Some people might call that a little odd.
She tells my husband not to tell me, however, as I will judge her. Though I'm not sure why she thought my husband wouldn't judge her. Yeah. I feel like that's kind of hard to not judge, honestly. Is it because he's a man? I don't know about that. She also says she will not tell me at all. She tells him that Chris found out and they're not in a good place. I come back to sit at the table with Molly while the dads go off to play with the children. She doesn't reveal anything to me and then says she's upset about something else. My husband immediately tells me as soon as we leave and tells me about Molly asking him to keep it a secret from me. Yeah, we don't need to be telling other people's husbands secrets. I'm just saying. As someone married, okay, this is a new development, very new development. I have been in a relationship for 4 years? I don't even know, 4 years maybe. Just celebrated 4 years of togetherness. Aww. If you tell me something, unless you specifically tell me not to say anything, well, no, even then. It depends on what it is, honestly. But to be fair, my husband is probably also going to know about it.
That's how it works.
Yeah. I know that might make me seem really untrustworthy, but I'm sorry. Not sorry. I'm not an I anymore. I'm a we, okay?
You are one.
I gossip with my husband, okay? Especially if it's something like this. I feel like it's kind of inappropriate to be telling someone else's husband a secret like this. I don't know. It's why do that? I don't get it. Okay, so husband immediately tells me. I decide to give her the benefit of the doubt at first. She and Chris haven't been great and people make mistakes. It was a thing to do and doesn't solve any issues, but they could maybe still come back from it. Maybe she will tell me if I give her the chance to, considering she claims I'm her best friend. Okay, no, even worse, okay? Why are you telling your best friend's husband a secret like this and not your best friend? I asked Molly if she would like to meet up for a drink and chat under the guise of her seeming down, and she did want to chat. We meet up and she spills everything almost immediately, but she doesn't say she told my husband. Okay, I'm glad she told you. She, in fact, tells me not to say anything to my husband, but suspects Chris has spoken to him and that it would be weird for him to know. What? Okay, this is weird. Hold on. So she told your husband first, told him not to tell you. He did. She told you, and now she's telling you not to tell your husband, who already knows. Oh yeah, this is weird. Okay. She also reveals she told our friend Kelly almost 3 months ago, as the affair has been going on for 6 months. Chris found out a month ago. I know it seems silly, but I feel betrayed that I was the last to know, and she told my husband to keep this from me, knowing he most likely wouldn't, as she knows we tell each other everything. Note that Molly and I usually tell each other everything too, and whenever she's had issues in the past, even ones I may have judged her for, she's confided in me. I don't know why she didn't want to tell me this. I've been cheated on in a previous relationship, but it doesn't bother me now as I have a wonderful husband who I have a good relationship with. I think I could have been more sympathetic to her situation, but she lied to me about it and has hurt Chris badly. She has no remorse for it and complained about Chris the entire time we met up. I'm baffled about this. Chris told my husband a week later. He isn't the most open person and was too ashamed to talk to anyone. My husband felt bad that he already knew and revealed to Chris that Molly told him. My husband then messaged Molly and apologized and said he can't keep secrets from his wife and he never should have said that he would, knowing that he would tell me immediately. Molly blew up at this and immediately called him to scream at him about how it didn't even affect him, so why did he need to tell OP? She then whined at him for 20 minutes about how I was going to judge her, but you already knew. And she'll have to deal with this later, won't she? Assuming that I will now message her about it. I haven't. She bitched and moaned at him while he barely said anything except that I was upset and I had been the last to know. She didn't realize I was in the house and could hear most of the phone call. This woman sounds really meddling. Like, this is messy, my guy.
You messy beast.
I don't know if this friendship is worth saving. Molly's playing the victim so hard. I've never seen someone do so many things wrong and still think they're the victim in all of this. Maybe in some way she kind of feels like she needs like attention. Like she's creating almost like a false sense of like vulnerability or like, I fail to understand why. Yeah, she's definitely not the victim. She did something very bad. She's complaining about her husband because she wants to seem like she's not the bad person here. That she, was driven to a point to cheat because Chris sucks. Apparently, she complained to Chris about me being mad at her, and he obviously showed little empathy and said, I can see why she'd be upset. Why do you expect her husband to lie and keep things from her? It shows how little you think of our relationship if you think that is normal. I know this because he messaged my husband about the fallout. Molly has not spoken to me about this. She was expecting me to run to her and complain to her, but I haven't. I haven't sent her a single message. I don't know if I want to even speak to her. She's not the person I thought she was. So am I the a-hole in this situation? Do I have a right to be mad? Or should I be thinking more of Chris in this situation and put my feelings aside? I don't really understand why, your friend Molly is, meddling the way she is. This is really, you are just part of a storm now. And to be honest, it's one thing to make a mistake once and to regret it. It's an entirely different thing to play the victim when you are clearly at fault and to blame everyone around you and somehow bring people into your chaotic mess that they didn't ask to be a part of.
Chaos.
Yeah, I don't love this. I don't love Molly as a person in general. I'd want to stay far away from that cyclone of destruction. So OP edited and said, I don't know what it was about. Maybe Molly was trying to cause a rift in my relationship, or maybe she didn't plan her actions. I mean, it might not have been deliberate, but I just find maybe she just really wanted to be to create this false sense of intimacy with everyone around her so that she didn't feel like the bad guy, so that she could go to everyone and complain and, she did something obviously terrible. That's her fault. I'm not really sure what that was about, honestly, and there's no point trying to rationalize it. All I know is that's very weird energy. I'm just saying I can sense it. I can feel it through the screen. People in the comments are saying, I would not be interested in keeping a relationship with Molly. Since your husband and Chris are friends, I would encourage your husband to continue that relationship, even see them as a couple, but no more seeing Molly on her own or having a relationship with her. To be honest, I have zero tolerance for cheating and cheaters. I mean, I have to be honest as well. I really don't like it. Not only does it show a lack of character and morals, but it's also I wouldn't trust someone like that around my husband as well. People who don't see cheating as a big deal or somehow make themselves the victim. It's what's to stop them from involving your husband in something like that? I don't do drama. She's doing both. You only have her word that it's only an emotional affair. Telling your husband why, and then telling him not to tell you is too much drama for my taste. I'm really at a loss as to why she felt the need to tell him. What was she hoping to achieve? I wonder if she confided in your husband because she wanted him to know she's open to cheating. I don't really see why she chose to create this like sense of intimacy with your husband where she like told him a secret like that, other than she has ulterior motives. Maybe it's as simple as she doesn't want to be seen as the bad guy. Maybe it's also creating a sense of intimacy to lead somewhere else.
Back off.
Listen, if you're my friend and you come to me and like something bad has happened, you've done something bad, I'll do my best. You know, I'm not going to judge. Nobody's perfect, okay? But if you are creating drama like this and kind of like going behind my back and shit, I'm sorry, but I would not want to be as close with you. I'm just saying. So, are you the a-hole for being mad at your friend for telling your husband to keep a secret from you? Well, the secret wasn't a Chanel purse. So, no, you are not the a-hole.